Hi ladies, so what we are going to do is work through about half of these Chapter 1 test objectives practice problems, and then you will do the remaining half for homework tonight, due tomorrow. We are going to work through not only the problems, but also talk about the objectives, so some of the things that you need to know how to do before your test. So we'll get right into it. From section 1.1, you need to be able to evaluate an algebraic expression given a value. Remember that when we see the word evaluate, that's when we pull a GLADE and plug it in. And just like always, whatever I write on my sheet should be what you're writing down on your sheet so that you remember. So in number 1, we are asked to evaluate the expression for the given value. All we have to do is plug it in. So where we see an A in the first expression, we're going to replace it with 3/4. So then we've got 2 times 3/4 plus 11. And then from here, you need to show all of your work on the test. So I'm going to take the time to change that 2 into a 2/1 because that's how we multiply fractions. Multiplication needs to come before that addition. And when we multiply those fractions, remember we can cross cancel first. So instead of 2 and 4, I can call them 1 and 2. When I multiply 1/1 times 3/2, I get 3/2. And then plus 11, I'm going to call that 11/1. From here, we can zip, zap, zoom. So we zip 3 times 1, we get 3. We zap 2 times 11, we get 22. And we zoom, we get 2 for our denominator. Adding across the top, we get 25/2. Now, if you want to do that on your calculator, you may, but I still need to see the steps of, okay, first you multiply and then you add. So you can't just plug it into your calculator all at once, but you won't get full credit. And then you will do example or problem 1B for homework tonight. So we're going to move on to section 1.2, which is when we talked about order of operations. So this first bullet point, you need to be able to simplify expressions using the correct order of operations. That goes with problem number 2. And then evaluate expressions, well, that's like combining sections 1 and 2, where you pull a GLADE and you plug it in. You just have to do a lot to it and then make sure that you're following the correct order of operations. So very similar to the objective from section 1.1. So number 2A, when we simplify that, if we've got multiple sets of parentheses or brackets or whatever, we have to work from the inside out. And again, this is something where you would need to show your work. You can't just plug it straight into your calculator. And we first take 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1, we get 2. Everything else copies with. So 5 times 2 plus 2 squared. And then you have to do those exponents next. So 2 squared, we get 4. And then we've got 5 times 2 plus 4. Inside parentheses next, 2 plus 4, we get 6. So we're just taking 5 times 6 in order to get 30. Final answer. You'll do number 2B for homework. Number 3A, evaluate. So again, we are just asked to plug it in. So wherever we see an X, we're going to swap it out with 5. And then we make sure we follow the correct order of operations. So 3 times negative X, or negative 5 now, plus 7 quantity cubed. And then we simplify inside our parentheses before we can do that exponent. Negative 5 plus 7, same sign, add and keep, no, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number, so it's going to be a positive 2. So 3 times 2 cubed. Next we do those exponents. 2 cubed, we get 8. So we are taking 3 times 8 in order to get 24. There's our final answer.